This town was all one town at one point.
用这个马路把加拿大跟美国分开了，前面这个就是边境线，分成了美加两边的。
Since 9/11, they wanted a wall.
They have cameras everywhere.
左边的是美国，右边的是加拿大。这个要是串门的话，等于是还租了一趟国。现在是我刚停好车，已经到了它这个图书馆的后面，然后你可以看见它这儿都是这个牌子，然后写的是不要穿过去，因为它对面就是加拿大了嘛。然后我们现在就去它这个图书馆看一下。
这个建于1901年的建筑有着独特的维多利亚风格，它的内部是由一个图书馆和一个歌剧院组成。它的捐赠者哈斯克尔夫妇希望加拿大和美国人能够平等地使用这里的设施，所以他们选择在边境建造。也是因为这个原因，这个建筑在两个国家都有它各自的地址。一进图书馆就能看见它的捐赠者玛莎·哈斯克尔的油画像，在旁边地上有条画着的线，紧挨着油画，这个就是美加边境了。
那这个就是分成了美加两边的这个，就靠这条线。
跨过边境线就是这里的藏书了。由于这些书都在加拿大那边，这里也被称为美国唯一没有书籍的图书馆。
它这边书都是法文的，哇，它这个藏书还是不少啊，有这么多的。哦，看看这个还有个牌子，看看这牌子写的是，它这就是如果你跨境，然后在这边家庭团聚的话是不可以的。哇，可以看它这个billboard 上，哇，它这就混合了英文跟这个法文的这个宣传都在这边。看，这是法文，这边是英文的。我们现在从它这个图书馆出来，然后可以看一下它这边上就是有这个边境的这个石碑，这边是 United States， 看这边就是 Canada。
在边境碑边上，你还会看到有多种语言写的“不要在此逗留”。如果你从加拿大那边过来，你会被检查；还有，如果你要是非法穿越边境，你就会被逮捕，并且送到监狱的各种牌子。而且这里的工作人员也告诉我说，这个边道是唯一加拿大公民可以踏入美国的地方。
然后你可以看见这个姐姐就是加拿大那边的，然后她现在就顺着道回去了。然后我们现在就是准备去到他这个加拿大那边看一眼，看他这个就是边境站，从加拿大那边过来的都要过这个他这个进美国的这个边境站。然后我们现在再往前走，前面就是进到加拿大的一个入口。然后看他这边已经是美国跟这个加拿大的国旗了，然后前面就是有这个牌子，看他这个牌子，左边就是加拿大的入口，右边就是美国这边，看能从这边过去不？然后这边就写着魁北克，这是应该是帮助欢迎你。它这边还有牌子，这边就换成了就是每小时多少公里了。前面就到它这个边境站，然后我们过去看一眼。Wait here， 哇，现在就过来了。它这边好安静啊，这边这个城市。然后那个边境那个大姐还问你要待多久，我说1天就回去了。可以看远处的边境站，从那边进来，然后就到了这边。这边就是你看非常的冷清啊，但是你看它这边用的还都是英语，它这 Southern Canada Power Corporation Limited， 你看它这对面也是，这是 Eastern Townships Bank， 看它这还有门牌，叫 Pizzeria Pizza Steve Pizza。 哇，那条小溪，然后前面就到了刚才那个图书馆的边界入口，这边还是有不少人都在这边打卡。看看边境巡逻大哥还在这，在这边可以看一下它这个建筑的侧面的全景，这个只能在加拿大这边看到。那大哥就是拿着书刚借完，回到这个加拿大这边。 然后它这还有一个很有意思，就是看我前面它这个居住的楼房， 然后它这个是正好坐落在这个美加边界这儿。然后呢，怎么看它这个里面住的人是哪边的公民呢？就看它这房子正门冲哪儿。它这大门要冲美国那边的，就是美国的公民；然后呢，要是冲加拿大就加拿大那边。但很有意思，就是它这个后门你看是冲着加拿大这边，就是你其实想过来就过来了，就是也是非常方便，从他这家里面穿过来。看这个大哥又被盘问了，这边看管的很严格呀，看这意思。看这边就是这个教堂的后面，然后看前面左前方，看这里被他这个石头挡住的，就是刚才停车那个停车场。
就在离图书馆不远处，我遇到了一个在这边居住了20多年的老爷爷，他很是热情地和我讲了很多关于这个边境的故事。
This town, and if you look, that's America on the other side over there. It was all one town at one point. 2 different towns, 2 different countries, 2 different names, but the population here considered it one place. Most of the people that live here were born in the hospital in Newport. They're dual citizen. They're American Canadian. And this is like, say, from 1980s and before. Since then, a lot of people are born here. But a lot of people that I know my age were born in the States, but they're Canadian. You know, because that was the hospital. It was considered like one community. And since 9/11, it's fractured. Unfortunate. I mean, I have pictures of this house. This house was built in 1876. The library was built in 1903. So I have pictures of this house looking that way as they were putting in the foundation for the library. And this is the only library in Canada without a door. The door is in America. Like I said, our town is the one that put up the blocks and the flower pots because the Americans wanted to go much harder. They wanted a wall. They wanted to make sure. So we took it upon ourselves to do that. Apparently they're satisfied with it. And a couple of times cars or motorcycles have come down the hill across the grass, and that's why they put the stones up now, so you can't drive a car across. They're very paranoid. What do you care if I'm escaping America to go to Canada? You know, you want to keep me there? So it's not the Canadians that did that, it's the Americans that, you know, are. Before 9/11, the church next door here, people from the other side of the border came to church here on Sunday. So imagine your grandmother coming to church on Sunday for all of her life. And then after 9/11, she has to show a passport to go to church on Sunday. That's crazy. Some of whom can't come into Canada, and some Canadians who can't go to the States.
Where do you want to go, boy?
So they meet at the border and they visit. But I can't touch you. I can't hug you, can't give you a kiss goodbye, whatever.
OK， 然后现在我们就是要回到美国那边去了。然后现在就是虽然我是过了它这个就是加拿大的这边的这个边境检查站，然后能看到有很多房子，算是在这个美国跟这个加拿大这个2个边境站之间。马路对面这个更应该是哦，可以看它这个房子这边有一个很有意思的，我们过来看一眼。哇，你可以看一下它这个就在墙上写着，它这个左右两边是属于不同国家的住户，这个太厉害了。看看这个，左边的是美国，右边的是加拿大。这个要是串门的话，等于是还算是出了一趟国，这个很有意思。那等于可以看一下，等于就是它这个边境线就是它这个铁门的位置，然后正中间给它切开了，所以才有了它这个住户两边的这个不同的国家。OK， 然后现在等于我们就是回到美国这边了，然后我们再去它这个小镇的另外一侧看一看。然后现在要去一个非常神奇的地方，它这个地方就是美加的边境线，然后呢就是把这个小镇一分为二，就是美国的住户呢就是 出了门就到了加拿大那条街，然后一回家又回到了美国这边，这也是非常有意思。然后我们现在去那边看一眼。我们现在就是到了它这个边上，然后能看见它这个路就是把这个加拿大和美国分开了。OK， 然后我们就是先去它这边境站，从这边出到对面到那个加拿大那边。OK， 现在就是我们到了它这个加拿大这边，然后 check in。你能看到它这个就是用这个马路，然后把加拿大跟美国分开了，对面的房子就是美国那边。然后这个右前方就是美国的这个房子嘛，它不挂了美国国旗，还有那个七彩旗。然后这不也要大选了吗？它这写的都是这个 Harris President。OK， 然后你看见它这个路上都有这个标，就是禁止停车，这两边都不许停，不许在这边逗留。OK， 然后我们现在就是在它这个边境站的另外一侧。然后他说非常有意思，就是这两栋楼，一个这个红颜色的，然后还有它左边那个青颜色的。他说右边这红颜色是属于加拿大，这青颜色是属于美国。然后你看这个它能分出来吗？你从后门一出来就到另外一个国家了。看这个就是美国，但是它这 stop sign 还是这个法语的。
在回去前，我还遇到了一个曾经小时候在这边长大的居民，他和我分享了很多他曾经在这边经历过的故事。
And also, I just heard so this road is like the borderline.
Yes, this is like the borderline. So people will stand in the middle of the road with a Canadian flag and an American flag and get their picture taken for Facebook, you know?
Oh, that's
so
cool.
This is really interesting. And also for the people that are across the road, we love to talk with them, but there's always traffic. So you're trying to have conversations because it's pretty busy even, you know, it is a provincial road, so it's used.
So you cannot go across the road to the other side? No?
You're not supposed to. Some people
to.
do, but you could get in trouble and you can get fined. It depends.
Really?
They have cameras everywhere, so because of that, they can see that you've gone and they could, you know, be upset with you.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So we had like some bouncing ball that came over here one day, and after a while I just threw it back to her like the wind, you know, because we were like, okay, well, we can throw it, that's okay. But I guess they wouldn't want you to smuggle something across that way.
Yeah.
But people will put like stuff that's to give away on the street. And I will see people, like let's say it's on the American side, I will see Canadians stop, pick it up, put it in their car and leave. And they don't get in trouble. So I don't know how crazy they are. I think it was really very official after they had trouble with 9/11. I think it was really strict. But when I was little, up in Rock Island, we used to walk across the border to the drugstore, and the drugstore was in the USA, and they had candy. So we'd go buy candy and everything. We didn't report, and we would walk by the Canadian customs and we'd just wave because we knew half the people and we didn't have to tell anyone. We were allowed. Back then it was really easy. I mean, I'm almost 60, so for sure it was different then than it is now.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
You
that
just
was
go
really
across.
interesting.
What if you just want to invite your friends just across the street and
Yes.
you just invite them to home for the dinner?
Yes.
And then
Yes, and actually they've invited us. They're very nice. They moved in a few years ago and they've invited us for dinner. But you would have to go down to the border and report and then go to their house.
wow.
Yeah, you have to walk all the way down. And the Americans are allowed to walk on our sidewalk.
Oh, so they are allowed.
They
to
are
go.
allowed because it's very dangerous on their side. I've seen a young man who's growing up now, 7 years, been going to school. I see him walk, and he's American. At one point, they talked about putting a road back there for them, but they never did it. They may still do it, just because these poor houses, there's how many houses that are American? It just goes to the corner, right? So those are all American houses, so maybe they would do a road one day, but if not, they just wave at the customs, like they don't have to report, and they come.
Oh, they don't need a report.
No, they know, they have a sticker on their car, so it's
Oh.
visible when they come by, and they probably know all the cars by now, because there's not that many houses. But let's say they're having company, like this is company, they probably had to make sure that the customs knew where they were going.
Wow,
Because
that's-
otherwise it would seem like they're going into Canada.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you can
that's
easily
it.
just go
Yeah.
drive straight and go
Yeah.
into Canada.
All right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you
good.
so much.
Oh, you're
Thank
very
you for your time.
welcome.
最后肯定是要在这条马路中间打个卡再回去。
然后你可以一脚在加拿大，一脚在美国，正好两边都能站到。这个地方是非常神奇，看一下，非常有意思。